Pakistan, a nation of immense strategic importance, finds itself grappling with a multitude of internal conflicts. These internal struggles not only weaken the country from within, but also cast a long shadow over regional stability. The restive province of Balochistan, for instance, has become a hotbed of separatist activity. Armed groups demanding independence and control over the region's resources have launched frequent attacks on government installations and infrastructure projects. Adding fuel to the fire are groups like the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, or TTP, which operate in the country's northwest. The TTP, with its links to Al-Qaeda, poses a direct threat to Pakistan's internal security. They have carried out numerous attacks, targeting civilians and security forces alike. Their presence in the federally administered tribal areas remains a major concern for the Pakistani government. The spectre of sectarian violence further complicates the situation. Clashes between Sunni and Shia Muslims, particularly in areas like Parachinar and Gilgit-Baltistan, have claimed countless lives. These sectarian divisions not only exacerbate internal tensions, but also have the potential to spill over into neighboring Afghanistan and Iran. Pakistan's internal conflicts, far from being isolated incidents, are deeply intertwined with regional dynamics. The porous border with Afghanistan, for instance, allows for the free movement of militants, weapons and drugs. The presence of Afghan Taliban sanctuaries on Pakistani soil remains a point of contention with the international community. At the heart of the India-Pakistan rivalry lies the disputed region of Kashmir. This mountainous territory, renowned for its breathtaking beauty, has been a source of conflict for over 7 decades. Since the partition of British India in 1947, both India and Pakistan have laid claim to Kashmir, resulting in 3 full-fledged wars and numerous military confrontations. The line of control, a de facto border that divides Kashmir, remains volatile. Ceasefire violations, artillery duels and cross-border infiltrations are frequent occurrences. Both countries maintain a heavy military presence along the line of control, further escalating tensions. The revocation of Article 370 in 2019, which granted special status to Indian-administered Kashmir, marked a significant turning point. The move, aimed at fully integrating the region with India, was met with widespread protests and condemnation from Pakistan. It also raised concerns within the international community about human rights violations and the erosion of Kashmiri identity. Adding to the complexity of the Kashmir issue is the presence of armed groups fighting for independence or accession to Pakistan. These groups, often operating from within Pakistan-administered Kashmir, add another layer of volatility to an already tense situation. Their presence makes any prospect of a peaceful resolution even more challenging. The rivalry between India and Pakistan extends far beyond the disputed territory of Kashmir. Both countries have been engaged in a relentless arms race, acquiring sophisticated weaponry and expanding their military capabilities. This constant military build-up, coupled with deep-seated mistrust, creates a climate of fear and suspicion. Military standoffs, often triggered by border skirmishes or alleged ceasefire violations, have become a recurring feature of the India-Pakistan relationship. These standoffs, characterized by the deployment of troops and heavy weaponry along the border, raise the specter of a full-blown conflict. The use of nuclear rhetoric by both sides further amplifies the risks. Diplomatic efforts to ease tensions have yielded limited success. While both sides have engaged in talks at various levels, these dialogues have often been short-lived and inconclusive. The lack of trust between the two countries, coupled with domestic political considerations, makes it difficult to find common ground. Adding to the complexity of the situation is the role of external actors. Countries like the United States, China, and Russia have significant interests in the region. Their involvement, while potentially helpful in mediating disputes, can also exacerbate existing tensions. Finding a way to engage these external actors constructively is crucial for promoting regional stability. The India-Pakistan rivalry takes on a particularly dangerous dimension when viewed through the lens of nuclear weapons. Both countries possess nuclear arsenals, making South Asia one of the most volatile regions in the world. The potential consequences of a nuclear conflict, even an accidental one, are too catastrophic to contemplate. The acquisition of nuclear weapons by India and Pakistan, while often justified on the grounds of deterrence, has done little to enhance regional security. On the contrary, it has created a dangerous environment, where even a minor miscalculation could have devastating consequences. The risk of nuclear terrorism, while often overlooked, adds another layer of complexity to the equation. The international community has a vital role to play in mitigating the risks associated with nuclear weapons in South Asia. Encouraging both India and Pakistan to engage in dialogue on nuclear confidence-building measures is essential. Promoting nuclear risk reduction initiatives and fostering greater transparency in their nuclear doctrines could help reduce the likelihood of miscalculation or accidents. Section 5. Dragons on the Roof of the World. China's role in regional stability. China's growing footprint in South Asia adds another layer of complexity to the already volatile regional dynamics. Beijing's close relationship with Pakistan, often described as an all-weather friendship, has raised concerns in New Delhi. India views China's growing influence in the region, particularly its infrastructure projects in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, as a direct challenge to its interests. The recent border clashes between India and China in the Galwan Valley highlight the potential for conflict between the two Asian giants. The dispute, rooted in competing territorial claims along the line of actual control, underscores the fragility of peace in the Himalayas. While both sides have taken steps to de-escalate tensions, the situation remains tense. China's Belt and Road Initiative, which includes the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, has further heightened strategic competition in the region. India views CPEC, which passes through Pakistan-administered Kashmir, as a violation of its sovereignty. The project has also raised concerns about China's growing economic and strategic clout in the region. Managing the India-China rivalry is crucial for maintaining regional stability. Encouraging both sides to engage in dialogue, confidence-building measures, and cooperation on issues of common interest is essential. Finding ways to address the underlying sources of tension, including the border dispute and strategic mistrust, is paramount. Section 6. Global ripple effects, from economic disruptions to a refugee crisis. The consequences of a wider conflict in South Asia would extend far beyond the region itself. The global economy, already grappling with multiple crises, would face severe disruptions. India and Pakistan are major players in the global supply chain, and any conflict would have a ripple effect on trade, investment, and economic growth worldwide. The humanitarian cost of a conflict in South Asia would be immeasurable. Millions of people would be displaced from their homes, creating a refugee crisis of unprecedented proportions. The region's fragile infrastructure would be decimated, further exacerbating the suffering of ordinary people. The international community would be forced to respond to a humanitarian catastrophe of epic proportions. The potential for the conflict to spill over into other regions, particularly Central Asia and the Middle East, is a grave concern. The presence of terrorist groups in the region, some with global ambitions, adds another layer of complexity to the equation. A wider conflict would provide fertile ground for these groups to flourish, further destabilizing an already volatile region. Section 7. Averting Armageddon. The importance of dialogue and diplomacy. Despite the challenges, the pursuit of peace in South Asia must remain a top priority. Dialogue, however difficult or frustrating it may seem, remains the only viable path to resolving the complex issues that divide India and Pakistan. The international community has a crucial role to play in encouraging and facilitating this dialogue. Confidence-building measures, while often incremental and symbolic, can help to reduce tensions and build trust between India and Pakistan. These CBMs could include increased people-to-people contact, cross-border trade, and cooperation on issues of common concern, such as water management and climate change. Addressing the underlying sources of conflict, including the Kashmir dispute, is essential for achieving lasting peace. This will require both India and Pakistan to demonstrate flexibility and a willingness to compromise. The international community can play a constructive role by facilitating dialogue and providing technical assistance on issues such as border demarcation and demilitarization. Section 8. The role of the international community, a call for collective action. The international community has a moral and strategic imperative to prevent a catastrophic conflict in South Asia. This requires a multi-pronged approach that addresses both the immediate risks and the underlying causes of tension. Diplomatic pressure, economic incentives, and security cooperation are all essential tools in this regard. The United Nations, with its mandate to maintain international peace and security, has a crucial role to play in preventing conflict in South Asia. The UN Security Council, in particular, must demonstrate leadership by engaging with India and Pakistan, encouraging dialogue and, if necessary, imposing sanctions on those who obstruct the path to peace. Regional organizations such as the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation can also contribute to promoting peace and stability. While SAARC's effectiveness has been hampered by the rivalry between India and Pakistan, it remains an important platform for dialogue and cooperation on issues of common interest. Section 9. Conclusion: navigating the tightrope of peace. The road to peace in South Asia is fraught with obstacles. Deep-seated mistrust, historical grievances, and the ever-present threat of violence make finding a lasting solution a daunting task. Yet the alternative, a catastrophic conflict with global ramifications, is simply unthinkable. The pursuit of peace requires unwavering commitment, patience, and a willingness to take risks. It demands leadership from both India and Pakistan, as well as sustained engagement from the international community. The stakes are too high and the consequences of failure too dire to allow the status quo to persist. The future of South Asia, and indeed the world, may well depend on the ability of these two nuclear-armed neighbors to find a way to coexist peacefully. The challenges are immense, but so too is the potential for a brighter future. The time for action is now.